Welcome to the Performance Enhancing Podcast. It's like steroids for your brain. A podcast for people looking to live life at their peak potential, chock full of real-world tools and knowledge that you can apply in your life today. By providing you with a lens into the lives, beliefs, practices, and actions of those who are already living extraordinary lives, the Performance Enhancing Podcast will help you shift your mindset or create that change in your daily rituals and habits so you can explode with success in the areas of life that are most important to you. So get ready for another dose of Performance Enhancing Podcast with SatoriPrime. Here's your host, Ilan Ferdman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Performance Enhancing Podcast with your host, Ilan Ferdman. So if you haven't signed up to our PEP list to receive a recap email about this week's shows, make sure you head over to performancepodcasts.com. That's podcast with an S at the end of it. So make sure you remember that. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to our show via iTunes, you can also do that at performancepodcasts.com/iTunes. Or if you prefer to use Stitcher, you can do the same thing at performancepodcast.com/Stitcher. And remember, we have new episodes coming out every Monday and Thursday morning, so you can grab those then. Lastly, if you want to keep up with everything that we do at SatoriPrime, you can always head over to our main site, SatoriPrime.com, and roam around. We have a ton of free content that we constantly update. And if any of you are looking for some mentorship around your marketing efforts, and I'm talking specifically about Facebook paid marketing on how you can use that to double, triple, or even quadruple your business, then we do actually have a couple of masterminds we run that can absolutely transform your marketing efforts in less than 90 days. So you can check those out by applying to see if you're a fit for one of them at SatoriPrime.com/mastermind. And with that, let's kick off today's show. Hi there, welcome back, my friend. Today's episode is part 2 of my interview with Kevin Wilke. So again, if you haven't listened to part 1, stop whatever you're doing, go back in iTunes, grab or Stitcher, and grab that other episode. Kevin, like I said on the previous one, is the godfather of the online marketing world. He just shares unreal wisdom. And in this part, I'm not going to ruin it, but at the end, you know my final question about how I ask people that cliche, if they only knew then what they know now. Hands down, the best answer I've ever received to this question. Hands down. It just absolutely blew me away. In addition, we will cover how he built the first, and it was the first ever local business marketing platform, what he used to build that, lessons he learned in doing that. We talk about the power of saying no, which is something that he's really had to develop as his business has grown over these last years, and something about the Kolbe method, which you haven't heard about, you definitely want to find out about. It's how he actually structures partnerships, makes it much more scientific than emotional based. And then lastly, before we get into the episode, I shared with this on the last episode, we have a 10-day challenge that's free. It's a 10-day video series available to you right now. You can find the link either right below this video if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can head over to SatoriPrime.com/podcast, look up the resource guide, and find the link in there. Videos are intended to have you have a massive breakthrough in an area of life that is really, really important to you right now. They're 10 short little videos, about 3 minutes each, and there's going to be some homework to do every single day that will allow you to take action in this area and actually have massive breakthroughs and produce results. So make sure you go grab that now. We put a lot of work and effort to it, and people are getting massive, massive results. So don't be left in the dust. All right, enjoy this part 2 with Kevin Wilke. Going back to what I asked before, how did you learn all this stuff?
Yeah, so back then there really wasn't courses like we have now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some like information, like people, is all like trial and error, trying to figure it out. So I was doing a lot of trial and error. Other people I knew were, and the key for me was, I'd say 2 things. There became over time more of a system that was working for people, and I started following that system instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and create my own. But it took a while to figure it out because there wasn't like the courses. It's just like following people and like sharing information. And then more importantly, I had mentors. So I had 3 mentors at that time that saw more in me than I saw in myself, which I was extremely fortunate because, I mean, I like how I grew up. I just didn't have a lot of like high level of confidence and belief and everything else. And they helped guide me through this path because they've already achieved that level of success. So I couldn't imagine where I'd be if they weren't a part of my life back then.
Amazing. Well, it's like you said, master coaching, right? Desire, master coaching. You did it without even knowing.
Coaching, like it's extremely difficult to, like, when you have that dip, you want to like give up or whatever. So you need to have those people that have already been past that know what's ahead, that sees what's possible for you to help push you forward.
It's cool because now you're on the other side. Obviously, you're mentoring and coaching thousands of people to do that. I've said this before, but I'm curious to hear your opinion. Do you see that everyone's journey has a very similar type of blueprint to it?
Conceptually, yeah. Like the things that we talked about. Yes.
Isn't it interesting how, like, as much as you can mentor people around pitfalls and failures and whatever, they still have to experience it in order to grasp it. Like, you can't mentor someone around not failing.
Well, it's when you're on that edge of failure, when you're pushing yourself that much, that's where true learning takes place. If you're just kind of operating within your comfort zone, you're making a very little incremental progress.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, so now you're like consulting these people, businesses. I mean, your life alters basically in a period of like 3-4 months. Where do you take it from there?
So that's right around that time is what eventually became Nitro Marketing got started.
Okay.
Once you have success doing something, so success in online marketing, all the opportunity that was always around you, because there's this amazing opportunity anywhere we look, you're just not conscious of it because you've never experienced it before. You don't know what it takes to do it. So now you know you've had success and your mind is opened up to all this opportunity around you. And it can be a bit overwhelming. So that absolutely happened to me. And now I had all these things. I thought, man, we could be doing this, that, and everything else, but it's only me. So I ended up partnering with a friend of mine in Dallas because I had this great idea for a thing we could do. I didn't really have enough time to do it. So we partnered together. He kind of ran it, got it off the ground and running and we were like strategizing together. And then the next idea, we partnered together on that one. And then the third idea, we partnered together on that one. Next thing you know, we have like 3 different projects going together, all having success. We're like, you know what, we should just start a business around this thing. And that's what Nitro Marketing got started.
So at what point, so people don't really know what Nitro Marketing is. So why don't we tell them like what Nitro Marketing is today, and then we'll kind of figure out how that got built.
Okay. Today we're a training company. So like my mission in life is to, like, when I'm like at that moment of fully fulfilled is when potential's being awoken. So if somebody wants to like have their online business, so like seeing them go through that transition and like actually achieving that, like that, there's nothing better in life than that.
Yeah.
So our mission is to inspire, teach, support, and empower people to transform their lives. So we give them the inspiration that this is possible for them, and then teach them step by step how to actually have a successful online business following a proven model, support them along that journey, and through that, they're empowered to transform their lives by having an online business. So our filter is what's the quickest, most proven, easiest path to have success online, and teach that to people. So for the past number of years, what I felt is the easiest way for people to start making money quickly and build up to full-time income quickly is being a local marketing consultant. So going to a dentist, or cosmetic surgeons or chiropractors, roofers, plumbers, all these local businesses, they need to be marketing online. They don't really know how to do it, so they need help. So you're the person that comes in, does their online marketing for them, outsource the work, so you don't have to be the expert at doing it yourself. You have other people proven that know what to do, doing it for you, and you just find the clients, bill them, maintain that relationship, and make sure the work is being done. And we've helped thousands of people create a full-time income in that business model.
So real quick, before I ask you a follow-up question, I was just listening to what your mission is and what you're about. And then I don't know if those are watching on YouTube or not, but read what that says. Educate, empower, prosper. I'm like, no shit, we're friends. Our mission's exactly the same. When did you actually start the whole local business marketing aspect of Nitro?
So that was in 2009. The economy just crashed in 2008. The whole world of business was thrown upside down. Our business as well. We were in a scramble trying to figure out what are we doing next? And for local businesses, everything stopped working. Their business was down. They had no idea what to do. Plus, nobody was using the internet anymore, or using Yellow Pages to find businesses, or using the internet. So this transition was at the early phase. Now we're way further in that transition. And I learned about outsourcing. So I saw, this is amazing. We can go get these clients, charge them a monthly fee of $1,000 or more. I had a friend in Dallas that was charging $5,000 per client doing this. Wow. So it's like amazing reoccurring income model. It's what they need. Nobody's doing it. We can outsource the work. So we made that transition, went into that. And my natural inclination is like, oh, this is amazing. Like, this is what we're doing. What if other people want to do this? So I did a webinar to teach this new model. Nobody, like literally in 2009, nobody was talking about it.
Yeah.
And we sold this course, which was just going to be the training for our own company that we're going to use. Let's just sell it to other people. And I had absolutely no idea what was going to happen. So it was the best converting webinar up to that point I ever did. And then within 30 days, over 25% of the people that were in that program were already making money.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. And is that the model that you guys are pursuing still today?
So, I mean, as in any business, especially internet businesses, things evolve. So what works is a little bit different now than what worked then. What we do now but fundamentally, it's the same model: is go out, do online marketing for local businesses, get paid a monthly recurring income to do that, and outsource the work.
So if people wanted to, like, if listeners are like, hey, you know what, that's a good place for me to go. Like, that sounds interesting. That's what I want. I mean, we'll give them all the resources, but where can they go to find out about how to educate themselves on that?
They can go to our company site, nitromarketing.com. Okay. And we have an educational webinar that teaches the entire business model. Like, at the end of that webinar, you can go out and you'll get your first client. We had people within like 24 hours get their first client, make money. So it's very educational, shows you the whole business model. And if you want our help and training and systems and sort, then you can invest in that as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'll leave all the links for that for you guys as well. Okay. Now you're building this business. And at the time, so this was 2000. In 2000, you started doing like the whole clients consulting, all that kind of stuff. So between there and 2009, I'm sure you fell on your face, probably about 1,000 times. Are there like one or two things that happened along your journey that you can share with people that can give them an insight of like a massive tip on where to get unstuck when they're stuck or something like that in their business?
I mean, for us, like looking through that, our business evolved a lot and probably multiple times.
Yeah.
So what we started doing in the beginning was different than what we're doing in the middle, and it was different what we're doing in 2009. So I think just being aware that business always evolves. And if you're not like learning and growing and trying new things, then you're going to be behind the curve. So you can't
especially today.
Yeah. You can't just like rest on your laurels like, oh, this is working amazing. It's always going to be like this way. Like the rainbows and unicorns are going to keep selling. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Rainbows and unicorns. Someone on my other interview was just talking about leprechauns. I'm like, where is all this stuff coming from recently? Now, let's talk about adaptability, because like I think it's mandatory as an entrepreneur to be adaptable. And you also said before, having vision to see opportunities and knowing which ones to choose, right? So it's like a lot of times I see people get overburdened by like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And you're really good at systemizing and understanding like how to get things going. Are there any tips or any lessons that you've learned of like how to be able to say no to certain opportunities, or how to evaluate which opportunities to go after?
Yeah. So like what you said, saying no becomes really important. In the beginning, you're now open to this world of opportunity that's swirling around you. So you want to say yes to everything. And then as your business is progressing, and you're like gaining more confidence, skill set, everything, what you can do becomes much greater. It doesn't mean that you should do it. If it's going to start like diversifying you too much and you're just spread too thin. So getting real clear on what is your core business, where are you going, what's the vision for the future, and what's going to get you there, and then checking in on a regular basis on that so you don't get too off the track, because it can be really easy to do. So that'd be one thing I'd say. Another thing that has been critical my entire successful business career is having partners. So the benefit of having a business partner, and pretty much the entire time I've been successful, I had business partners. And now anytime I start something new, so I have a couple businesses besides Nitro Marketing right now. I have my own agency where we do what we teach. I have a physical products business and some other things. They all have a business partner that is a great complement to myself. And I couldn't comprehend being a successful entrepreneur, especially if you have multiple things going on, without business partners.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a little bit, because I'm sure in that world, and I have the same experience, where it's like there's amazing partnerships and there are the worst, most horrible, like end in a cataclysmic event partnerships. What have you learned about how to find the right partner that actually accelerates your business and doesn't, blow up in your face?
I think one of the most important for me is you're a great complement for each other. So what your strengths are as an entrepreneur, and like what you're really great at, and the other partner, what they're great at, are different.
Yeah.
If it's the exact same, then you're going to be great at a few things and horrible at everything else. And you're going to kind of like be competing back and forth around the same stuff. A great resource for this is a assessment called Kolbe, Kolbe. So this measures how you instinctively take action. So other things like Briggs-Myers is your personality, DISC is your personality, but your personality is a different part of your brain than the cognitive part of your brain, or connotative part of your brain, which is how you take action. Mm-hmm. And it's going to come down to 4 different characteristics. Fact finder is if you're like a research person and you need a lot of details. So you need to go out, gather a whole bunch of stuff, get a lot of information and details. And once you have that, now you're going to get into powerful action. If you don't have that research and details, you will never do anything.
Yeah.
Second is follow through, which not necessarily like you're good at following through the stuff. It means you're good at systems and processes and structure and plans, so I initiate and follow through.
Yeah.
So you can see all the stuff and like how it fits together and create like systems and plans to like move forward with stuff. And if I don't have a plan, if I'm not taking action on something important in my life, almost always it's because there's no plan in place. And all I have to do usually is sit down for like 5 minutes. Like, what are the steps that I need to be doing here? And now I'm back in action. And then the third one is quick starts. So a lot of entrepreneurs are quick starts. The majority that I know are. And that you're somebody that is, as soon as you like get interested in or inspired by something, you're instantly in action.
Yeah.
And you do it now and figure it out later or maybe never. So you're really good at starting, horrible at like following through and finishing.
So you would basically want like a quick start guy and then a follow through guy.
Yeah. So when you take that assessment, you're going to know what you initiate in and then what you resist. And this is hardwired. Like your entire life, this does not change. Personality can like kind of mold or bend over time. I'm always going to be initiating and follow through. You're probably a quick start. You're always going to be initiating as a quick start.
For sure.
And then if you're like, let's say low number on Fact Finder, if you have to like do a bunch of research and like gather a ton of details for something, you will resist that to like no end.
Yep.
But if that's now stuck in front of you and you don't know that this is how you're naturally hardwired, it can cause all kinds of problems. So one, as an entrepreneur, this is extremely valuable to understand how you just are hardwired to take and resist taking action. Second, on the partnerships, it's really valuable to have somebody that's a complement to you. So versus having somebody that has the exact same as you, otherwise it's just too overlap and the other areas that you need to have are just not present.
Wow. So when you go to create these partnerships, you actually have the other person take this Kolbe test?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And when we hire new people, they take it as well. So it's amazing for employees. It's an amazing hiring tool. There you can take an assessment for a job that you want to fill, and it'll tell you what's the ideal characteristics for that person. And then you can hire somebody that has those ideal characteristics.
Wow. Very cool. Where do you, there's some services online that you can fill this out?
It's KOLBE.com.
Cool. I'm going to go do one.
And if you want, after this, I can give you a link that you can give everybody else. I did an hour training debriefing Kolbe and how to use that yourself and use it with working with other people.
That'd be amazing. Okay. So I'm going to get that link from you. That'd be awesome. All right, cool. So, partners, business, any massive resource that's really helped you transform your business recently, like something today that you're using regularly that's really helping you in your business?
Yeah. And this also goes back, a great thing when it comes to partnerships is you need to have structure on how you work together as a team. Because if you don't have that structure, it'll probably work. It might work in the short term, but it's eventually just going to fall apart because you have two different viewpoints. So you don't have to work together and all this stuff. So approximately 2 years ago, I read a book called Get a Grip. And he teaches this thing called the entrepreneurial operating system, which is a simple process to run and manage an entrepreneurial driven company, which is what we all have. And that was like life-changing when I learned that. I implemented is how I run all my businesses now moving forward, is following that entrepreneurial operating system process. So there's that book. It's more of that one's the kind of story-based one where you learn about the whole thing through the story of a business. They have struggles and then gets help and then the outcome of it. I love those kinds of books. They also have one called Traction, which is a typical how-to business book.
Okay.
So based on how you prefer to read, those are the two options.
Same concepts, one story form, one more like database.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. All right. So going forward, going back to kind of that adaptability and where the world's going and keeping our, head to the ground, all that stuff. Where do you see shifts happening in 2015? I mean, you've been online now for holy shit, almost 20 years. I just realized. Wow. Next year will be 20 years online. Not many people can say that, Kevin. Like I said, the Godfather.
I'm a young guy, so that makes me feel old right now.
But that's ridiculous to think about. Like, wow, amazing. I mean, listen, you were there at the beginning. That's what I said early on. Where do you see it going? 2015, 2016, like?
I mean, that's an interesting question, and one I haven't pondered from a big picture standpoint. In our own industry of being a local marketing consultant, up until this point, it was really one of the easiest things I know of to get to that full-time income. So you're making $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month, and you're quit your job, you're working from home, doing something you're passionate about, making a difference in people's lives, have an income and time freedom. And what I've seen happen, and this is probably universal in most types of businesses, is you reach this point of complacency.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you got into this to create a certain level of income and work from home and all this stuff. And then you reach that point and your motivation starts to dwindle away because you're living the life that you want to live. Yeah. And that can be a very deadly, dangerous place to be, because if you're not always growing, then you're going to be shrinking. So you might not be innovating in what you're doing, and eventually what used to work no longer works. Or maybe something happens, you hit the blip in the road, and now you go from a comfortable income to oh crap mode. So that's the a big shift I see coming in our industry, and maybe in a larger scale, is how to break free from that being a solo entrepreneur, making a good income, but it's kind of all based around you. And it's your ability to execute and deliver the results, and moving to having a true business where you now have systems and processes. You have people around you that are helping you besides just yourself. And even though you're have an online business, you're making a good income, if it's all based on you, it's not really a business. You're just really good at generating income, and it might have some automation and these other things, but until it's something that can be running without you're constantly being the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, pulling all the levers, then you're always going to be at danger of it disappearing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was going to say my brother's girlfriend works for Tony Robbins, and he basically gave them notice that he wants out in 5 years. He's been doing this for, I don't know, this is going to be 4 decades or something. It's insane. And even at that level, and we're talking Tony Robbins, they have no clue what they're going to do when he's gone, because it's a him business. Look, he'll never suffer for money. It's not from that respect. He's got other businesses and other investments. He's fine. His eons of his, family is going to be fine, but they don't know how to keep the company going now. And I think that's a big shift for someone that's been doing it for a while, like yourself, who that's your thought process now. And that's why I love talking to people like Kevin. And, it's always amazing to talk to people who are way farther down the road than you are, because that's where you learn. That's the conversations that you're at now. Whereas for me, I can hear them in theory, but it's not I'm not in that place in my business where that's where I'm thinking about right now. So
this is an interesting conversation. It's in talking about Tony Robbins, the whole thing's based around him. So Nitro Marketing, it was always it's, as a training company, it's kind of personality based. So that personality is based around me. And then there's things that I'm just really good at, that I'm the one that does that in the company. And then I have other people that are good at all the other stuff. There's only a few things that I'm like great at that I do, and then everybody else does everything else. But if I stop doing those few things, then the company is going to have a challenge.
Yeah.
So I've seen that dynamic of that was my first business. That's what I've done all this time. And that's just without being conscious of it, that tends to be what the end result is. Even you have a company, you have a business that still is based around you. If anything happens to you, then the company is going to have problems.
Yeah.
So now all the new companies that started since then, it does not have that dynamic. Like it's not based around me whatsoever. It's based on creating the business, the systems and processes and structure that drive and run the company.
Let me ask you this. Do you find that to be more fulfilling, less fulfilling, or basically the same?
Also, like now that I'm really clear, like what I love and what I'm great at, going into those partnerships, I structure it to allow me to work almost exclusively my unique ability and none of the other stuff. And then I'm partnered with somebody that's the same way. Like the things I hate doing, that I'm horrible at doing, they love doing, are absolutely amazing at it. So no matter what you don't like or not good at, there's somebody that is exact opposite of you. And it takes a while to like wrap your brain around that concept, because all you see is how life shows up for you, and you don't realize it shows up completely different for other people.
Yeah, that's a really, really great line right there. So, all right, I always wrap up with this question. I mean, we definitely covered a bunch of this, but there might be something new there for you. So there's that cliche, you know, I wish I knew then what I know now, and you've had, God, tons of business experience. Is there something you wish you would have known when you started that you would have gone back and told yourself?
This is a good question. This is something I wish I went back and told myself when I got started. Yeah, so probably the thing that has had the biggest impact over my entire journey, and it wasn't present in the beginning, or if it was, is like on small scale, hit or miss. And now I'm very conscious of it, and it's just a part of like who I am, is my business and my success and what I'm able to do and accomplish and my fulfillment I have is 100% based on my growth as a human being.
Wow.
So if I want to grow my business, if I want my business to go to a new level, I have to go to a new level as well.
Wow.
And if I'm not consciously doing stuff to make that happen, either reading, going through courses or going through programs or things like that, then I'm not going to get to where I want to go. And over the time, I realized that, and I didn't understand this in the beginning, that personal growth is not something that you read in a book. It's something that you experience in life.
Wow. Kevin, I have chills. That was quite possibly my favorite answer to that question. Really. I mean, I have like chills all over my body. I think that is hands down the most important lesson. I think as soon as people understand that it's not, here's my business and here's my relationships and here's my this, like a lot of people focus on doing more and working harder and all that stuff. But like what you just said, I want my business to grow. I need to grow.
And it's not looking out there for like the solutions. The solutions have to come from inside and then go out to the world. It's not like, and if you are willing to take responsibility for like your life and what you have and stop placing blame or things outside yourself, then it's always going to be a struggle.
Yeah. Wow. That might be the most beautiful answer I've received yet in hundreds, 100 plus episodes. That was amazing. I mean, I couldn't have said that better if I wanted to. But that is absolutely, if I had to say like what I learned, I think that would be it. I mean, not to compartmentalize and just realize that like I want a life, it's here. It all has to do with me. Everything is a reflection of who you are and how you are on the inside. So, wow, amazing. So that's a great place to end it. But before we do, I know we said it before, but anywhere that people can find out more about you or connect with you?
Yeah, you can find out all about me at nitromarketing.com, NITRO. I have like a whole thing, like I share my story, the journey. So a great video where I just personally share my journey and lessons learned along the way there. If you want to learn about our business model, and we have our educational webinar that you can register for and attend and learn all about how to be successful at it. And then we have all kinds of training programs that you can take part of, services, like everything to support our people. Awesome.
Kevin, amazing. Thank you so much. So happy to finally have you on here. By the way, Kevin's all the way in Brazil right now. So he was gracious enough to take time away from being on the beach and looking at scantily clad, beautiful women to be here with us.
Right now it's like 95 degrees. And
sacrifices, right?
Yeah. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to go head out to the beach.
There you go. Love you, brother. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Thanks, Ilan.
Bye. How good was that answer? I told you, right? Worth the wait. Really just blew my mind. Again, I know we talk all about, we want the technical skills. We want to learn how to do more, this and that. Take it from a man who's been doing this for nearly 20 years, who just told you that if he wanted to grow his business, he had to look inside and grow himself. No truer words have been spoken on this podcast. I don't know where you are in your business right now, but I promise you that if you keep hitting a roadblock, it's not because of something you're doing. It's a specific way you're being. There's some thought, belief that has been ingrained in you that you're unconscious of. And that's what it's affecting you right now. And so again, great opportunity, 10-day challenge, okay? This is what that 10-day challenge is meant for. It's meant for you to unlock these hidden things, to realize what is in the being, not the doing, that has you stopped or has you repeat the same patterns over and over. Again, sign up. It's free today. Right below this video or at SatoriPrime.com/podcast. Just look for this episode and you'll see the link in the resource guide. It's SatoriPrime.com/10-day-challenge. So SatoriPrime.com, 10-day-challenge. Okay? Get on there. Go make a difference. Imagine like in 10 days from now, a week and a half from now, life looks completely different. Wouldn't that be something? Well, that's what's up there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you go grab that 10-day challenge. I'll see you on the next Performance Enhancing Podcast.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Performance Enhancing Podcast. We've taken this pep talk and created a custom action guide so you know exactly what action steps to take now to grow your business. Just head over to SatoriPrime.com/podcast and download it for free. Also, please leave a comment and rate this podcast on iTunes. It'll help us get the word out. Thanks for listening. Now, go and implement. We'll see you next time.
Did you run through doors till you hit the floor?